Spookyou's frightening nights of Halloween.
Hello, my dear Franken friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen, and we've reached night 12 of Spookyou's frightening nights of Halloween. Tonight and every night leading up to that spooktacular night in October, All Hallows Eve, or as you mundane mortals like to call it, Halloween. Well, dear listeners, it's the penultimate episode of Frightening Nights of Halloween. That's right, tonight and tomorrow are the only things standing between us and the most spooktacular of days. So mark your calendars, clear your schedules, and make sure you tune into our grand event, Spookyou's All Hallows Eve Bash on Halloween Day. It'll be a 24-hour live radio of stories that we've compiled thus far, and maybe a few exclusives. Who knows? As always, I'd like to take a second to thank our wonderful sponsor for helping throw all of this together, the Scottish Hush Puppy. Best known for his live streams on YouTube, it's a little-known fact that Hush Puppy actually bought out Google 3.5 years ago. He's a pretty hands-off business owner and tends to leave things to his army of minions at Google HQ. Luckily, he was gifted the powers of telekinesis and telepathy, so he's able to solve any and all problems that pop up right from home. Talk about minding your own business, am I right? Well, thank you, Hush Puppy, for your generous donation of sheer willpower and determination as we trudge through the last remaining stories to complete our series. All hail, Hush Puppy. A week before Halloween, and we still didn't have a pumpkin. True, Molly and I had just moved the kids to St. Simon's Island, but that was still no excuse. Not when we all loved Halloween. Especially our kids, Sarah and John. Now, I just needed a jack-o'-lantern, so late Friday evening, I made my way to the pumpkin patch. The place was small and close to the beach, nothing more than a cute fake field. Already sunlight faded around me and the howling wind blew my long blonde hair everywhere. I waved at the teenage boy and girl manning the cash register, and then I finally saw it. A pristine pumpkin in the corner, and I stepped up to the strange shrine and picked up the orange treasure. Through the twilight darkness, I saw where the pumpkin had already been carved. A crude lobotomy ran all around the stump. Uneasy, I looked around the patch, and only 2 customers were left. And now we stood in pitch blackness. Moonlight illuminated the scene. I looked at our future family jack-o'-lantern. A new face stared back at me. No silly grin, no crooked scream, nothing carved. Instead, what I saw was a glaring human face. Familiar blue eyes peered out from that jack-o'-lantern. I saw a pointed nose, an exact snapshot of how I looked moments earlier. Trembling, I ran my hands along the face. There was no hard, cold touch. Instead, my fingers sunk into the flesh. Frantic, I reached toward the stump and yanked out the lid. A human brain was inside, a brain left in pieces from so many scoops and slices. Skull fragments replaced the pumpkin's seeds, red blood, the juice. I felt numb, hollow. No longer did I even feel that chilling wind. I faced the tent. What the hell is this? Startled, the couple faced me, then let out a collective scream. The tent mirror showed me why. That wasn't Michael in the reflection, not with the triangular eyes, that evil smile, the facial features comically carved onto my face in grotesque fashion, all while flickering flames fluttered beneath my flesh. Moonlight illuminated the couple and remaining customers, and during the panic they still showed carved smiles and glares. Like me, their faces morphed from human to ghoulish jack-o'-lantern masks. And then I saw that the pumpkins resembled us more than we did. They had big eyes, calm smiles, defining facial features, all of it melded to their orange skin with precision. No longer were we in a pumpkin patch. This was a wax museum, an uncanny valley of excited jack-o'-lanterns. Like an avalanche of sadness, memories hit me. Molly, Sarah, John. And now instead of tears, I cried orange slime, felt yellow seeds stick to my cheeks, to the slime. Long hair brushed against my arm. I confronted my chosen pumpkin. Its skin was now a pale white. Blonde hair replaced the stump. And on that jack-o'-lantern, my face became all the more detailed. Ah, yes. Our favorite time of the show. Sponsor time. I'm going to let Hush Puppy take it from here and tell you about his channel. But you have to promise me no visiting his channel until you've at least finished this video first. I mean, how rude is it to just leave in the middle of a video? Seriously, promise me. Do it now. No, not later, not I'll do what I can. I need to know that you won't leave me. Okay, well, I guess here's Hush Puppy.
Salutations, good people. I'm the Scottish Hush Puppy, and salutations to all you good people over there at Spookyou, all the subscribers, listeners, and even you, Barnabas. And before I tell you who I am, I want to give a sincere thank you to everybody at the channel for allowing me to be your sponsor for the Frightening Nights of Halloween series that's going to be taking place on October the 18th. So make sure you're subscribed. Do not miss that, because if you're anything like me, you love a good spooky story. And what better place than the YouTube channel you're watching right now? Now, what is a Scottish Hush Puppy, and what does it do? Well, over at our channel, we do a lot of live streams. We stream a lot of horror games, especially through the month of October. And we stream a variety of games when it's not October. And we love to have people watch us live, and we want to provide a family-friendly environment for anybody, absolutely anybody, to come in, hang out, and make it feel more like a casual hangout than a live stream. Because usually everybody in the chat, they're all friends, and we can't wait to see you in one of our live streams in the upcoming foreseeable future. So, that being said, I just might be narrating one of these Frightening Nights stories. And of course, all this is leading up to the big live stream on Halloween itself. And I might be popping up there as well. So don't miss it. Hit subscribe on that Spookyou button. Annihilate it. And until next time, I've been the Scottish Hush Puppy, and I got some food to go eat.
Oh, good. You're still here. You are still here, aren't you? It's kind of hard to see through the glare on your screen. Turn your brightness down. No, a little bit. No, just please. Forget it. I'm sure you're still hanging on. Let's get back to the story. It's a special time of year. The leaves have started to change color and blanket the ground below the now bare trees. The fronts of all the supermarkets are lined with decorations, costumes, and candles. The spirit Halloween stores, timely specters that they are, reanimate and set up shop all across town. And every year, as this season begins to creep up on us like a routine plague, I think the same thing. God, I hate Halloween. There's always so much work to do, and somehow, despite the weeks of warning, it always seems to creep up on me. Take this year, for instance. A week away, and I've only just settled on the perfect house. I mean, it's easy if you know where to look, and this year I settled on a 2-story at the end of a one-way street. The owner, who lives out of town, put it on the market after their house flipping project ran out of money. Their asking price is too high, so it's quietly sat on the market for a while. Sad for them? Perfect for me. And of course, my work has only just begun. Now I need to get decorations for the front entryway, supplies for the harvesting, a van for transportation, candy for the trick-or-treaters, and a fake ID for any police officers who come by. But it'll all be worth it in the end. You see, when the light's on out front, the children come knocking. Some have parents, others travel with friends, and, well, an unfortunate few walk the dark streets of Halloween night all alone. 5 a.m. on the dot. It wasn't uncommon for me to wake up at this time. Something internally would rouse me from my sleep at this exact time every morning. I was partly grateful for this. I could look out the window and take in the slow rise of the sun on the horizon. My window looked directly out onto the street that spanned its way up the main road. Cars sat on either pavement, making it relatively impossible to walk anywhere but in the middle of the road. Every weekday, Monday to Friday, at 5 a.m., I would see this same woman meandering her way down the road until she made it to the doorstep of her house, about 50 yards from my window. She looked about, I'd say in her late 20s from what I could see. She was always immaculately dressed. Her white shirt looked steam-pressed. Her shoes were polished and gleaming in the morning light. Her hair was a searing auburn red, which delicately caressed her shoulders in dainty curls. I felt almost connected with this woman, as if my waking were some kind of guardianship I had been issued. Instinctively, I would watch her make her way down the road and feel a sense of relief flow through me when I saw her disappear through her door. 5 a.m. on the dot. This time I swung my legs over the side of the bed as I always do, and I shuffled to the window as I always do, and I saw... 6 a.m., still no sign of her. Oh well, maybe she had a day off. I've heard a nasty cold has been going around, and people don't always associate the crest of summer with snuffly noses and deep hoarse coughs, but those bugs are still there.
I wish I would have known someone was looking out for me.
A voice came from the opposite corner of my room. A voice so cold and so lifeless it froze me into my place. My heart was pounding in my chest. I slowly began to turn my head to look over my right shoulder, and soon the window entered my peripheral vision, and I was looking directly at her. She looked almost translucent. Light from the window was still hitting her face, but there was no shadow. Her skin was crystal white, her hair now dull in color, and her eyes a piercing blue. A wide band of redness encompassed the circumference of her neck.
I wish I would have known someone was looking out for me,
she repeated, her voice still so cold.
I wouldn't have felt so lonely.
Oh great, another outro. Look, I appreciate you sticking around, but that does mean that tonight is over and we're inching closer and closer to the end of October. And while I love Halloween and all things spooky, I'm not adept at coping with change. Or goodbyes. Or even see you laters. I mean, we're nearing the end of spooky season for crying out loud. Hey, quit your snickering. Even monsters have feelings, you know. Besides, here at Spookyou, our spookiness knows no bounds. We're going to be bringing you terrifying tales all year round. And we don't really believe in the concept of too much of a good thing. I mean, that's preposterous. If that were the case, they would have fired me a long time ago. Anyways, if you've been with us through the entirety of our Frightening Night series thus far and you haven't subscribed, well, what are you waiting for? With our luck, you'll croak before you smash that button, and then we'll have to cut into our budget just to reanimate you to do this one simple task. Well, and then it's remedial tasks from there on out. I mean, if we're forking out the cash, you're at least doing the dishes. Oh, and hit that like button, too. It helps make us look good to the YouTube deities and pushes our content out into the World Wide Web. That way, newcomers and long-timers alike can discover our content. Or something like that. Hey, I'm just a monster reading a script voiced by some guy behind a mic. What do I know? Well, we'll see you tomorrow night for another episode of our frightening nights of Halloween. Until then, my ghastly gang, stay spooky.